Hi, everyone, and welcome to Unicoi County Public Library Tech Savvy Series. Today, we're going to be talking about building computer skills. We started last night with basic computer skills, and now we are building on them. Joining us again is instructor Stacy Haas with Goodwill Industries Geneva, meaning that they serve Tennessee and Virginia. Thanks for tuning in out there in the virtual world. If you have questions during this presentation, please feel free to pop them in the chat. I'll be monitoring that and we can get those questions to Stacy. For those of you who can't join us live, this video will be archived on the appropriate playlist on Unicoi County Public Library's Facebook page or YouTube channel. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Stacy Haas. Stacy, thank you for being here and helping us build our technology skills.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Selena, for having me in the Unicoi County Public Library. So like Selena was saying, yes, I taught last night on basic computer skills, just very basic. What is a computer, laptop, some keyboard functions, and all of that. So today, I'm going to go into just a little bit more detail. We're going to talk about the internet, some internet safety, and then I do want to show just a few slides from this PowerPoint that I have here. I just missed that. Okay. I'm on Microsoft Edge. Let me get on Chrome here. And then I just kind of wanted to share this with everybody. I don't know where we are in our stage of life. You may be currently looking for employment, maybe looking for a better job or trying to move up in your current position. And just really how important are digital skills? What do I need to know? What are we doing now in 2021? So I just kind of wanted to go over that for a minute before I moved on to more of internet and building more of our skills. So I'll start here. 92% of jobs require an aspect of some sort of digital knowledge. And then 58%, I'm sorry, let me move this down, sorry. 58% of employees lack the digital knowledge needed for future jobs. So I know, if there's anyone out there who's like me that says, maybe I love my job, maybe one day I want to move up in my job, then just kind of keeping up to date and knowing what's expected, what's needed. And gosh, I said 2021, didn't I, Selena? We are now, we have moved into 2022.
You did. It always takes a little bit of time to reset when that date rolls forward.
Yeah. And too, I shared this information last night too. I am a new mom again. So I have a 8-week-old and then a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. So yeah, I don't even know what year it is sometimes, but we are in 2022. So keeping up to date with what is expected of our digital knowledge in this year. So moving on. Sometimes we just have to laugh at ourselves to make it through, right?
Yes.
Okay, so some of the things that the skills that are required to kind of focus on would be those basic computer skills. What's a mouse, what's a laptop, desktop, the system unit that we talked about. Typing skills, email, we talked about email etiquette. I'm going to go over a little bit today, just a little bit with email, just as far as avoiding phishing emails and spam and all of that fun stuff. Internet obviously, in 2022. Social media is a big one. I know, a lot of people are like, nope, I don't do social media. I don't want to learn any form of social media. And if you don't do it, then I mean, that's okay, right? But just to be knowledgeable, because that's the world that we're living in right now, is a world of social media. And I know as far as Goodwill, we have several different social media accounts, just to kind of market that, right? So, hey, right now we're on social media, Facebook Live. So, yeah, we use it for everything. So just being knowledgeable and in that area. Cloud basics, knowing about the cloud, safety with the cloud, how to use it. So I was talking to Selena last night, and that is a class that I'm going to bring later on in our series. So it's going to be cloud basics. I'm not going to go into much detail or depth with it because it can become a lot, but just the very basics of cloud, and the different things to use with it there. Okay. Word and Excel and PowerPoint, yes, they are still very much, we use those all the time. So we're going to talk about that next time, Word, and then we're going to go into Excel. So just knowing how to navigate, how to use those. Smart devices and communication skills and job search. So those are just a few things that, employers are looking, and those are things that we just need to keep up to date with. So, some things that I may be taught on my job, my employer may teach me about the job, right? But some things they want me to know before I even come into the job. And they'll ask me this on a job interview. Do I know Word, Excel, and PowerPoint? And do I know how to navigate through the internet easily without needing help or assistance? So those are just a few things. So basic computer skills. I hope that you were able to be with us last night or to watch the video, but we talked about all of these things, and these are just basic that employers are wanting us to know. Okay. Email. Yes. How to send an email, how to reply all, forward, knowing what is junk mail. So all of that, proper etiquette, and then just safety and security through your email. And of course, our internet, we talked about the different internet browsers, and I will go over that again today as well. And then how to browse, how to know if something is safe. The last time I did this series, I did a series on the internet. We talked about safety. We talked a little bit about online shopping, and because we do live in a world where we do online shopping, some of us.
So glad you brought that up. I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to interact with you. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because cybersecurity is it's a growing concern, and we need to know how to navigate the web. Just because it's there doesn't mean that everything on it is good or bad. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so and sometimes too, we think, is this safe? And so there are a few things that we can look at, and I will talk about later, to see, is this website safe for me to purchase on, to put my credit card information into, right? So we need to know that. Okay, and here again, social media. These are a few of the different social media accounts here. No, I don't have, I have one of these, but I know about all the rest. And just being knowledgeable about them, knowing that your employer probably uses them. So just being up to date, not being so closed off and saying, I don't need to know about that. It's for younger generation or whatever. No, this is the world that we're going to. So everybody uses it just to market, really, and just to get their name out there. I mean, these are businesses. So just to know about these. Okay. Here we are with the cloud, and talked about that. Word, Excel, I will definitely go over these. I have Google Sheets on here, so that is a part of Google Drive, which is a cloud-based system, like a where you store files as well. So we'll talk about that in other classes. So please come back and hang out with me for the Word and the Excel classes. Hopefully you gain a lot of information through those. Okay, so smart devices, how to use them, how to set up, how to navigate the different types of smart devices, and then presentation, PowerPoint, Google Slides again. And I'm running through this really fast because this is not what I want to focus on today, but I just wanted to tell you about the why you need this in the workplace. Okay. And then job search. So anybody ever have, a paper application anymore? It is, I can't find any, really. It's rare. So I have done many applications online with clients or participants, whatever. And that's where we're at, the online job search. So we have to know, especially if you're job searching, you have to know how to navigate the internet so that you can. And that is one thing that I would teach is I don't care to help somebody fill out a job application, right? Like I don't care at all. That's my job. I would love to do that. But what I really want to do is I want to teach you how to search for jobs yourself so that when you're not with me, when you're at home or you're at the Unicoi County Public Library, that you are able to search for these jobs on your own, and you're able to, where to go, to be specific when you search. And so we will have a class on job searching and the different search engines to use for those job searches. So if you are in need of a job, please come back for our job search segment. Okay, so that is that with just really giving you some insight there on why it is important to learn digital skills and to just kind of grow in our knowledge. And like I said before, I mean, there are things that I'm learning that I'm figuring out. I'm constantly trying to keep up to date with what is expected on our resumes because those change so much. And, how to gear your resume towards the job that you are applying for instead of having just one general, how to change it and, what they're wanting without it being too wordy and all of this. So there's a lot of different rules and everything. So I'm constantly having to read and keep up to date with what we're doing and what's expected of us. So, okay. Kind of building on to our basics. So we have our laptop or we have our desktop in front of us. And now we know about Windows, how to navigate some of that. Now I need to know about the internet, and the internet is very much a part of our lives. Even I have people in my life who are like, I'm never buying anything from the internet. I won't. If I can't get it in the store, I'm not putting my credit card information in, and to each their own. But those people still do access the internet. So this is our world here. Again, I had stated this on our basics last night, but again, these are some popular internet browsers: Firefox, Google Chrome. Google Chrome is what I use and that I personally default to every time I get on the internet. Microsoft Edge and well, let me stop there. Firefox and Google Chrome are downloadable browsers, which means that they don't come pre-installed on your laptop or desktop with Windows. So Microsoft Edge would, and this is an old one. Edge does not look like that anymore. So my apologies. If you can see at the bottom of my taskbar, Selena, can you see that? Can you just like give me a thumbs up?
I can see.
Okay. Okay. So that is my fault. This is the old Microsoft Edge, but now it has since changed to, I mean, I don't know, what would you call that? A wave, a big giant wave. Makes me want to go to the ocean. But so then we have the old Windows. Everybody probably remembers this one. Get back to my slideshow here. And then Safari, which is Apple. If you have an iPhone, you're probably familiar with this, or if you have a MacBook, Safari is going to come pre-installed. Okay. All right. So how to connect to the internet. So we have our smartphone. You know, I do have some people in my life who do not have a smartphone in 2022, but if you do, that is one way to connect. We talked about last night with the Ethernet cord going from your laptop to the actual modem or router. And then we have a wireless connection that, you know, on your phone, you can say connect to Wi-Fi, or remember also on the bottom of your laptop, we can check to see right here if we are connected to internet. And then if not, get connected to internet through here. Okay. All right, so I do enjoy the videos. I love to teach. I love to talk about these different digital skills and all that, but I also love videos too, to help us just kind of see better. Okay, so
good to mix it up.
Yeah, we all have
the spice of life.
I like to keep it spicy here. So, you know, we have different learning styles, all of us. So I'm a very hands-on learner. If I'm doing any of this, I always encourage, especially if I'm teaching in person, I will do something, and then I will have my participants then do what I just did, because I feel like we learn better when we actually do it versus just listening or watching someone do it. I feel like we learn better, we retain it better when we're doing it. So I'm going to show this video. And let me share my sound.
Chrome makes browsing the web quick and easy. In this video, we'll talk about the basics of browsing with Chrome. Some browsers use an address bar for navigating to websites, and a separate search bar for conducting web searches. Chrome combines these things into one bar known as the Omnibox. By integrating Google's search technology, the Omnibox offers suggestions for websites or potential web searches as you type, which makes navigating the web faster and easier. To use the Omnibox, type a web address or search term. As you type, suggestions will appear below. Suggestions in green are websites. Suggestions in black are potential web searches. From here, you can select one of the suggestions. Or you can type a full web address and press Enter to navigate to a site, just like you would with a regular address bar. Next to the Omnibox are the back and forward buttons, which allow you to move through pages you've recently viewed. The Refresh button will reload the current page. Like all browsers, Chrome allows you to view different pages and open multiple websites in the same window using tabs. To open a new blank tab, click the New Tab button. Then, just navigate to whatever site you want. If you find a link in a website, you can open that link in a new tab without navigating away from the page you're on. To open a link in a new tab, right-click the link you want to open. Then select Open Link in New tab. You can also move tabs. Just click and drag the tab to the desired position. You can also open a tab in a new window. Just click and drag the tab down. You can put a tab back into a window by clicking and dragging the tab until it reappears on the tab bar. To close a tab, just click the X. And those are the basics of browsing with Chrome.
Okay, so very basic. Again, you already may know how to access the internet, but if not, so you would use one of those popular internet browsers that we went over already. So if you're using Google Chrome, then you would just click it, and then one tab will open. I know you see on here there's multiple tabs open, but one tab will open, and then you just put in what you want to search for. So, if you are house hunting, homes for sale in Unicoi County, or Irwin, Tennessee, would maybe be what you put. So we're specific, so I can't just say homes for sale, right? Because where's that going to take me? Everywhere. But if I put in the zip code for Irwin or Elizabethton or Johnson City or wherever you are, then homes for sale in 37643. Okay. So I can search that up here, and I can then add that to my favorites. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. If you notice up here, I have many different tabs open. So, and then I can navigate through these tabs as well. I will show you the add to favorites. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but so if I click on this one, then I'm gone back to the PowerPoint that I just showed you. I wanted to be on internet basics, so I have these pulled up. I didn't have these in order before when I got on my laptop. I had this over here because it was one of the last things that I opened. So I wanted to make sure that I had that close to my other PowerPoint, because what I was going to do to go in order, it just helps me, right? So you can move your tabs, and then I will show you. So when I click on this plus, I'm going to add another tab. Okay, in mine, just go ahead and defaults to Google. But if you see up here, I have a link that I can click on. And what I have done, so let me go ahead and click on that, is I have added this website to my favorites. Now, notice that this website here is our Goodwill Learning Management System that I talked about. I have classes online that teach Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So I'm getting on this every single day. This would make sense for me to add this website to my favorites. And I have a few other things that I'll probably want to add to my favorites, but notice here, my star is highlighted in blue, letting me know, hey, you have added this to your favorites. But what I like about it is every single time that I go to get, I don't have to put in the website. All I have to do is add a new tab and just click on it because I have added it to my favorites. Now, if I want to add, let's go to Goodwill. This is our Goodwill website here. Notice I do not have this added yet as my favorite. No, see here, the blue is not highlighted, but I want to add it. So I just left click, and the name, it just kind of defaults here. It gives you a name. Do you want to name it Thrift Store, Goodwill of Geneva area? Then I probably would change it to Goodwill TNBA, just probably TNBA, and then I'd say done. So that way, notice now I have it up here. Now it is added, and obviously you're not going to add every single website that you go to, right? But if you are visiting a certain website frequently, like I said, I'm visiting especially our learning management system every single day. So I'm going to make it easy for myself and just add that to my favorites. So let's go here. And if I'm like, you know what? I don't really want that to be on my favorites anymore. It's getting too crowded. I have too many things. So this I don't really go to much. I'm just going to hit remove. And that's, I've just removed it from my favorites. So it is no longer there. Okay. So, and you'll definitely want to add the Unicoi County Public Library to your favorites, right? Because you are visiting that website every single day.
Indeed.
And to throw that in there. I do have that tab up because I like something that they have on their website for sure. So I wanted to make sure and show that to everyone. But okay, so also my back button, go back to where I previously was. I can refresh. Let's see, I'm gonna make sure. Well, I'll go over it now since I'm here. So if you notice I've gone to goodwilltnba.org and I am now at our home page, but I'm going through and I'm looking at the mission. I'm wanting to see, what does Goodwill do? What is their mission? And which is to provide employment services to those in need, if anyone is wanting to know. But down here, well, my picture is in the way. Okay, so I would go to training, free computer classes, click on it. And here it's going to tell me about the computer classes that I have mentioned that I've talked about. But notice that there's no home page or there's no home tab for me to hit. And I'm like, well, how do I get back to the main home page here? Where do I go? I don't see home. So what I would do is I would hit on the Goodwill name logo, and that's going to take me back home. So if a website does not have a home tab, then their logo or their name is what's going to take you back. So I got on Unicoi County's. Let me pull over. Now Unicoi County, they do have a home. So, you can obviously click the home, but if I'm just going through, and this is what I love so much about this website for sure, is how awesome that you have these tips here for strong passwords and avoiding phishing and all of that, which we'll talk about. But I thought that was a great thing to have on your website to help your patrons, anybody who wants to get on and check it out. So not only is the internet, because people think, oh, the internet's bad, it's just bad. But so many resources and so many good tips and everything to learn. I mean, gosh, I don't know that. I mean, I have to Google. I have to ask Google all the time. I'm like, how did my mom make it back in the day without asking Google all these questions? But also too, Unicoi County has a home tab, but if I was to click on their name up here, it would take me back to their homepage as well. So
Thank you for highlighting the library. And this would be a prime opportunity to let people know that our website will be changing and you will be able to find us in about a month on ucpl.net. So I just wanted to throw that in there, but we'll still have that same great information like the tech tips.
okay, great. So I will tell you what I did to go to the Unicoi County, and so this is what it currently looks like, but it's changing. So all I did was I went up here to the address bar and I did my Google search. Now, notice that this is just in black, so it's going to give me a suggestion. It's not the actual site, but I hit enter, and then I went over here and clicked on the website, and then it took me to their website. So you know, when we're searching, we have to be specific, but I did not know the actual web address. The same thing, or the URL. The same thing with Goodwill. If people, one thing I ask in my classes, I have many people who will take these classes and they live in Texas or they live in Florida or Vermont, where, I mean, it seems like there's no one in Tennessee taking these classes. They're all from around the country. So one of the questions I ask is, how did you hear about us? And it's always I won't say always, but 90% of the time, it's Google search. They just Googled free computer classes and we popped up there. So I thought that was pretty neat. So back to my presentation. Okay, we've gone over that. All right, so when you click on Google, saying that I can search here in my address bar, or I can search here in the search bar. So let me show you that as well. So when I click on new tab, so I can search up here, or I can search here, and it'll take me there to what I'm looking for. Okay, Selena, are there any questions? Am I going at a good pace?
No questions so far. Good pace.
Okay, great. All right, so I've already talked about tabs, and you can add multiple tabs. I will say, if you're not working with tabs at the time, go ahead and close those because you may slow your internet down. That way, if you have many different tabs open at the same time. So to do those, just click the X there. So if I am done with Unicoi County, then that one just goes away. If I'm done with Goodwill, so then I've just have open what I need. I'm done with digital skills. So I'll go ahead and move that. And remember, you can also move these around. Alrighty. Okay, so a hyperlink is just short for a link that you can click on, and it will take you to, in our video, you know, she said if you right click on it, you can say you want to open it up in a new tab instead of navigating away from what you're currently working on. So like this right here is a link that I would click on, and it would take me to another internet page to tell me what a hyperlink is. Okay, easy peasy, right? Oh, wrong tab. Okay. All right, so I won't go over this, but when you're searching, just make sure again that when you search that you are specific when you're searching. So if you're searching for movie times at a specific movie theater, state that when you're searching and what time it's playing and all that. And then you can click on the links that it provides you, the suggested links. Okay, so how do we get back to a website's homepage? I've gone over this as well. It is their name, their logo, whatever, if they don't have a home tab for you to click back on. Okay, so the example here of being specific when we search, post offices in Abington. Okay, you definitely, I can't just put post offices. If I'm wanting to know like the hours that they're open, or I'm wanting to call them, then I would find their phone number on the internet, but I need to be specific in that search. Okay, searching for images. So if I open up a new tab, and this keeps, there we go. If I want to giraffe. Okay, so what I'm on right now up here is just all. So it may tell me about giraffes, may give me a few pictures here about giraffes, but what I want is images. So I would click on the images tab. And also too, this is in the PowerPoint class that I teach online. What we're doing with that is building on a presentation of wildlife. So we have wildlife through America, wildlife in Africa, and I have you add pictures of lions and giraffes and make them bigger and smaller and all of that fun stuff. So this actually, you know, showing you this, if anyone was to sign up for the PowerPoint class, then, you know, you would search for images. You would do that through the internet to add those. Okay, so up here, we have one that I personally like to use a lot, and that's the shopping. Just because I'm always trying to see where is but who has the better deal, right? Anybody like me, or did I just tell it myself?
I see as well.
Hopefully my husband's not watching. Okay, so downloading, how to access multiple downloads in Google Chrome. You'll see that when you download, there is a button down here that says show all, and you can see all of your downloads, and they'll all pop up. So if you have, you know, you've downloaded 4 different pictures of giraffes, and or you have an attachment from an email that you have opened up, you've downloaded. You'll see all of that when you click on the show all. This is if you are using Google Chrome. Okay. It is different if you're using another website, or I'm sorry, a search engine. But in Google Chrome, you'll have that show all down there with your giraffe downloads. Okay. So how to actually download images and show all your downloads. We can read through this. Let me just show you. Okay, so if I'm going to search for flowers, just pictures of flowers. Remember, I'm here on all. I want to look at these flowers, and these, I'm shopping for flowers. I just want pictures of flowers. Okay, so I left click on it, becomes bigger. When I right click on it with my mouse or my touchpad, I can save image as, and then I would left click that. And then I'm just going to name it Pretty Flowers. Save. Okay. So notice after I have downloaded that, I have saved it, what pops up? Well, down here, Pretty Flowers, but say that I have several. Over here, what is here? Show all. So click on it, and then, you know, what I do is download everyone's assignment. So those would be here as well. I have other things that I have downloaded, but here are my Pretty Flowers. So I could just click on it, and then it opens up. Okay. Hopefully that is clear. No questions. Okay.
No questions.
Okay. All right. So I was here, and then I'm going to. All right. So Google Maps. I won't really go over this. I want to get more into our email and our video of avoiding phishing and scamming. So typically, if we do need to Google Maps something, which I mean, I use Google Maps all the time, but to do that on my smartphone, and I put that in so that I have it in my car when she's talking over the car, right? So you would just, so if you were to use it on a laptop, desktop, whatever, you know, you go to Google Maps and then type in your address. Okay. But typically we do that on our smartphone. Selena, if anybody has any questions about that, please let me know, but I'm going to move on.
I will.
Okay. Okay, so playing videos, you know, if you're on YouTube, wherever you are, gcflearnfree.org, 2 different places that you can play these videos, and typically in the middle here and down here towards the left. Okay. We won't watch this video, but again, it's just showing you where you could play it. Okay, common domain names, and this is huge too for recognizing a legit website. Make sure that you're looking at the URLs and the common domain names, because that's too where, you know, scammers can get you, as if they just use you know, CM or something instead of COM. make sure that you're actually paying attention to those websites. Okay, so this too could add for extra safety. So let's go ahead and watch this private browsing, and either we have a new private window or an incognito window that you would open up. So let's watch the video. Nope.
Every time you open your favorite web browser, it keeps a list of every website you visit. Your browsing history is how your web browser is able to create auto-suggestions every time you start to type a URL. It can also be helpful when you're looking for a website you've visited in the past. However, if you don't want your browser keeping track of all your online activities, you can use private browsing. This stops your web browser from saving a history of the sites you visit. Why would you need to browse in private mode? Well, you could choose this option when you're shopping for a surprise gift, researching a sensitive subject like a personal medical topic, or using a public computer. You can use private mode anytime you want to keep your browsing history confidential. While the private browsing feature has different names on different browsers, they all work the same way. When you select private browsing, a new window opens. None of the sites you visit in that window will be recorded in your history. Any new tabs you open in that window will be private as well. While sites you visit in private mode aren't logged in your history, it doesn't mean your internet activity is 100% anonymous. Websites use various methods to track your browsing habits, and they use this information to determine which ads to show you. Using private browsing does not prevent websites from gathering this type of data. As long as you understand its limitations, private browsing can be a useful tool that's easy and convenient to use.
GCF Global, creating opportunities for a better.
Okay, let me see if no. Okay. So if I am to go over here to my 3 dots, and again, I'm in Chrome. So I have the new incognito window, or, it tells you here the shortcut to use if you're a shortcut person, the Control Shift and N. But I am going to just go to my 3 dots, left click on the new incognito window, and it tells me you have gone incognito. So, it says on there, what are some reasons why you would want to go, and like she was saying, if you're, someone searching for a ring or something for Christmas or whatever, and you don't want that other person to see, then what you're buying, looking at all of that, then that would be a reason to go incognito. So it's not saving your browsing history and information entered and all that stuff, which does help with safety. So those would be some reasons to go incognito. Notice too, it opened up a completely different new tab. So I had all of those tabs open, but I wasn't private browsing in those. So now I'm in private browsing. So when I click on new tab, I'm still privately browsing, okay, until I just exit out of it. And now I'm back. Okay. If I need to show that again, I would be happy to, but if not, I'm going to move on.
I think we are good.
Okay. And should I allow Chrome to save my password? Public computer, never, ever. Shared computer, probably not. And personal computer is up to you. So let's talk about passwords for just a second. And I love too that the Unicoi County Public Library had that on their website with the strong passwords. So you definitely don't want to choose a password. You don't want to have the same password for everything, right? I have definitely been guilty of that in the past, because it's just easier for me to remember, right? If every single password is the same. But as far as safety goes, that's not good. And it has to be, so it needs to be long, with numbers, special symbols in it, characters, uppercase, lowercase. Try to avoid using personal information like your street address or your birthday or your kids' names or something. All of that is public information that people could easily guess. And then, like I said, mix it up, have different passwords. So what I've started doing is just writing them down and keeping them in a separate safe place, because it can be like, well, what did I use this password for? Like, what is this? So, and lots of times, if you were here, I was out on maternity leave, and it was funny. I got a new laptop when I came back from being on leave, and the lady asked me, as she was setting up my laptop, she said, "What's your password?" And I was like, I have no idea, because that is something that I didn't write that password down, right? Because I'm getting on my laptop every single day. I didn't need to write that down, and because I was just using it every day. So I didn't. But then when I come off leave and she said, "Okay, put your password in," and I just looked at her and laughed, and I said, I don't know what it is. Thankfully, after 2 or 3 tries, I remembered it. But do make sure that you're writing these down, your username and your password for everything, because we just live in that world where we have a username and password for everything, pay our bills online. So make it different. That's going to help with safety as well. Okay. So protecting ourselves online. We're going to look out for phishing and spam. Let me go through this, because I know we're running out of time together today. Email phishing. So the purpose of it is for you to it was for them to try to get your personal information. So of course it's going to look legit. Okay. But one thing that you could definitely do, say you do, if I don't have a Netflix account, okay, then that's obviously someone phishing. But if I do, and they're wanting me to put my personal information in here, then one thing that I can do is get off of my email and actually sign in to my account. So do not respond through your email. Open up a new tab and get on your account, on your Netflix account, and see what's going on. Call if you have to. And then also, too, on this one, they're saying, "Dear Netflix." Okay, if someone is trying to reach you, they're going to address you. So those are just a few things. But the main thing that I would say is never respond through your email. Always sign into your account through another way. Okay. And also, too, we have HTTP. One thing that you can be certain is if there's no S, then it's not legit. So there needs to be an S after this P. So HTTPS, that S actually stands for secure. So if that's not there, it's not legit. If the let me get it out. If the lockbox here, and I will show you right here. If the lockbox is not locked, then it is it's not a secured website. Okay. So, which we never asked for anyone's debit card information, anything like that on our website. But you want to make sure that, so if I'm going to Amazon, okay. I mean, it's Amazon. We know that this is a secure website. It has, its box is locked. If it's not locked, then that means it's not a secure website. It doesn't mean it's a fake website. I just wouldn't be putting your personal information in, to that website. If it's not a locked box, has an HTTPS. Okay. Also, too, if you're wondering, is this site sketchy or is it real? Is it okay for me to purchase off this? Sometimes if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And then always look to see if there is a return address. So is there a phone number? Is there an address? Is there a return policy? Okay, so look at all of that stuff before you actually purchase something from this website. Because I promise you there's a lot of hackers. There's a lot, if you have an Instagram or a Facebook, there are ads. Like they were saying, they track our browsing history. So if they see that I am shopping for rugs one day, well, when I'm scrolling on Instagram, then what's going to pop up? An ad for a rug. I mean, I know y'all are with me out there that happens. So because they track that, they're trying to sell their rugs, right? But then a hacker is on there and I'm like, oh, well, that rug is only $19.99. Oh my gosh, yes. Everything else I was looking at was over $100. It's beautiful. I love it. Okay, probably too good to be true. And then I've just given my credit card information to somebody. All right, so I know you all have stories. I personally have stories of people I know who have been hacked and thought, oh, this is a good deal, and then ends up, being fraud. So these are just a few things to look out for. The internet is safe, but unfortunately, there is bad out there. So what do I need to look for? The lockbox, the S, that if I'm getting an email about something, don't respond through email. Call somebody if you can, and look to see if they have a phone number, return address, return policy. All of that is going to work in your favor as well. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there. Selena, is there anybody who has any questions for me?
I am not seeing any on here, even with refreshing. So I think we are at a good spot.
Okay.
So with that being said, thank you, Stacy, for sharing your time and talents today. Building those computer skills, having digital literacy, those things are so very important. And thank you for touching on a little bit of that internet security, email phishing, and it was just the surface. But hey, that's where we have to start. We're all about lifelong learning. So we have these videos, you can revisit them. Also, utilize your public library. We are here to help. So please come in, schedule those one-on-one technology tutorials, reference these videos. If you need help accessing them, come and see us and we'll certainly do that for you. Thanks again for joining us. Stacy, you'll be joining us again on Monday, won't you? At 6:30?
Yes.
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 Look for that on our Facebook feed. Stop by the library, call the library, and you can get any information on the classes we are hosting online. Hope you have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you again, Stacy. Everybody, have a great day and happy reading.